Okay, anybody wants to discuss any topic? What happened to this couple of people? What happened to your friend Sneha? You had added one more person who said she'll be coming. I think somebody named Neelam Chaudhary, and she said that she'll be coming. I hope that she was able to connect.
She had to go to the airport today.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Anybody has any comment or question related to what we have done? Sushil ji?
I know, Miss, I should know, but I do not know the answer. What's the relationship between Arjun and Nakul?
Arjun and what? Nakul?
Karan.
Karan. Because they were their mother was the same, but fathers were different. And Karna you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Karna was, because there's a whole story that Kunti, when she was a girl, single, she was not married at that time, and because the rishi, see, this whole Mahabharata is like a people knew that they needed to send all these divine people down there, because जो इतना corrupt हो गया था सब कुछ, right? इतना corrupt हो गया था कि they had to have a divine intervention, so they were going to come through Kunti. So then Durvasa Muni gave her a power to invoke any god to get a son. But because she was like a teenager, curious teenager, and वो चाहते थे कि जब इसकी शादी हो जाए तब ये करे, क्या बोलते हैं, यूज करे इस पावर को to get the, and he also knew, the Durvasa Muni, through his yoga shakti, he could see that the husband is not going to be able to have children because उनको श्राप मिल गया or something. I won't go in that story. So basically when she was a teenager, she invoked Lord Sun. And because the power of the mantra, it is a, क्या बोलते हैं, अमोघ बोलते हैं उसको, जिसमें एक बार उसको शक्ति को manifest कर दिया तो फिर उसका result आएगा ही आएगा. So then she got the child, and now this girl suddenly doesn't know what to do, and then she got too scared, So उसने उस बच्चे को ना एक टोकरी में रख के और गंगा जी में छोड़ दिया. And the सारथी of किसके सारथी थे वो? धृतराष्ट्र का सारथी था ना शायद. No, I'm trying to think. One of the sarthis, he was a charioteer of someone. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
who.
he was Dhritarashtra Sarthi.
उनको ये बच्चा मिल गया because they didn't have children, so they raised him. And later on, because he was a divine child, he had a lot of powers and stuff like that. So Duryodhan, when he saw that this fellow, and then उन दिनों में भी वो जात पात का problem था. Caste system was still being followed in a negative way, So you are Sudputra, means your charioteer son, you cannot sit with prince and all that. But Duryodhan saw that this fellow had so much power, so he made him a king of a place. I'll make you the king. And then he was using him to fight for him, to get what he wanted. That's the whole story. So Karna actually is a half brother of Arjun, which he only found out after the war was over. Krishna knew about it.
That was I was wondering, I said, how, Miss, they're both sons of Kunti.
Yes.
How did Karan end up with the Duryodhans? That's what I didn't know.
Yeah, so Duryodhan, saw his powers and he said, hey, if somebody can defeat Arjun, it's this fellow.
Right. Yeah.
So उसको अपनी तरफ कर लिया उसने.
So who was Arjun's father?
Arjun's father was Indra Devta. So when she invoked 5 different Shaktis. The first one was Surya Devta, Arjun was Indra's son, and Yudhishthir was Dharmaraj, जो हम लोग स्टोरी पढ़ रहे हैं ना, धर्मराज, यमराज और धर्मराज एक ही है. यमराज को धर्मराज भी कहते हैं because he is the one जो धर्म का वहन करते हैं जो, So he is Yamraj or Dharmaraj's son. And then who else is there? Nakul Sadev was Ashwini Kumars. There are two Shaktis called Ashwini Kumar. That's why they could heal people and all that. And then Bhim was Pavan Putra. The Lord, क्या बोलना चाहिए? Air का Lord जो है. Vayu Devta. Vayu Devta.
But that was in my mind it came up. Arjun is, as Krishna calls him Kunti's son.
Kunti Putra.
And I was wondering how come never mentions father's son. What's the name of the father? I mean, that's how I was looking at. I said, I don't even know what's the name of that. So,
Because I think in those days they had lot of different ways to have children. One was this divine way, and then there was another way also. They call it niyog. Like when if you see the story, the king died, and he had 3 wives, and now there was no heir, to continue the kingdom. So then they brought Vyasji in, So then the Vyasji's children, in fact, Vidur and the other 2 were, क्या नाम था उनका? नाम से अभी मैं इतना Chitrangad or something like that. And so I think that whenever you guys get a chance, watch the story of Mahabharata. Because there is, Bhagavad Gita is absolutely the jewel, no doubt about it. But there are so many other stories to learn the lesson from too. Tremendous lessons you can learn.
That would be a difficult thing to explain to the kids. That this is how our sons came out. And
no, but the way you explain, then you have to explain it in a more proper way, because the way I would explain to them is the way I'm saying now, that the divine powers had to come down. So that's why they had to use the devatas to do that. But I think they will accept that.
How to say the infertility problem is an age-old problem. So, people adopted different means to have babies. So that's what it is.
And in today's world, oh my God, there are test tube babies and there are like surrogate mothers. सब कुछ हो रहा है यहाँ पर. And then, they have even created some, क्या बोलना चाहिए, एक sheep को create किया था ना उन्होंने, clone कर दिया था. Cloning was like somebody was saying that cloning was not a new phenomena, because ये गांधारी के बच्चे सब cloned भी थे. That's how they explained it. You might say, how did she have 100 kids? A woman cannot in one lifetime have 100 kids. She'll be dead. But so there are so many, whatever in the modern technology can do. That's what I'm saying. Mahabharata mein already hai. In fact, Vyasji wrote Mahabharata, right? Or compiled it. That's the right way to say it, because history it happened. He declared that whatever is in Mahabharata is there in this world. Either the concept or the idea or the incident or some situation. इससे अगर महाभारत में नहीं है तो दुनिया में भी नहीं होगा. इतना, और जो हम लोग देखते हैं ना स्टोरी, लाइक जो सीरियल वगैरह बनाया है, that is like 1/10 of what it is actually. The story and the story and the story, and so much detail is there.
But regarding Karn, he had this power from sun, which was a protection to him.
Kavach.
Krishna knew that Arjun cannot kill him. So he sent Kunti to Karn to ask for...
Not Kunti. No, he sent Indradev ban ke aaye Brahmin.
Yeah.
He said send Kunti, because Karn used to give whoever comes in the morning...
Oh, okay. You are telling me. Yes. वो कवच नहीं था.
Goes to him and ask, you give me, don't kill my son. That's basically she said. So he promised her that he's not going to kill any of the Pandavas.
See what Kunti told him, that
हमारे 5 बच्चे जीवित रहेंगे.
she didn't want him to fight with him. That's what she told him. That come back to your brothers and join them. And he said, I cannot do that, because he felt obligated to Duryodhan. That's when what Sneha is saying happened. He said, okay, I cannot leave Duryodhan's side, but I promise you, I will not be the killer of your sons. I'll spare them. And they showed in the Mahabharata, each time there was a chance that he could have killed them, and he let them go. And he said, the only person I will genuinely try to kill is Arjun. इतना भी बोल दिया तुम्हारा एक बच्चा जीवित सॉरी एक ही मरेगा या तो मैं या अर्जुन बट कृष्णा वाज सेविंग अर्जुन right that's why Arjun got saved. Arjun didn't
No,
get
it
saved
was
because
the
he was
kavach he
praying.
had of son that he gave. Kavach means it was a protection of son that he had, that nobody could have killed him. But once he gave that, then he was susceptible.
In spite of giving the kavach he was still capable of killing Arjun but उसको एक दो श्राप मिला हुआ था तो वो जब when they were actually at the battle he was capable of killing Arjun and then he had this weapon called Shakti which he got it from it's a very interesting story because when this क्या बोलते हैं who was the father of I said Arjun the Indra Devta he said okay I have to protect my son Arjun then he comes in the ब्राह्मण का वेश लेके आए और उन्होंने उसका कवच मांग लिया because Karna was Danveer Karna he always gave whoever asked he always gave so he gave it and then what was I going to say Arjun is the one no Indradev said he was shocked that somebody could give the kavach okay so he said mango mere se he said no I don't want anything फिर भी इंद्रदेव ने बोला मैं आया हूँ मुझे तो कुछ दे के ही जाना होगा तो उन्होंने उसको एक वेपन दिया और बोला कि जिसका नाम लेके तुम ये वेपन छोड़ोगे ना वो डेफिनेटली उसकी डेथ हो जाएगी सो जैसे दुर्योधन को मालूम पड़ा उसने बोला कि सेव दिस फॉर अर्जुन राइट सो ही इज गोइंग टू यूज इट ऑन अर्जुन सो द डे ही वाज गोइंग टू यूज इट ऑन अर्जुन यू नो हु दे ब्रॉट इन भीम्स सन भीम का जो एक बेटा था ना जो राक्षसी से पैदा हुआ था घटोत्कच था उसका नाम right उसको ले आए वो लोग and he is like so big so giant and he was crushing the entire army that's when Duryodhan told him use this weapon on this Ghatotkacha otherwise this weapon will kill the entire army and that weapon could be only used once so he had but Krishna kept saving him and then at the end when they came face to face this Karna had couple of shraps. One shrap was from his own guru because he lied to his guru. When he was going to get the gyan, he told them that he didn't tell them कि वो सारथी का बेटा था. उसने बोला मैं ब्राह्मण हूँ. क्षत्रिय बोलता तो भी शायद माफ कर देता. ब्राह्मण बन के गया था वो. So then when the guru found out, he said that the day you will need your vidya the most, that day you're going to forget it. And what Krishna Bhagwan explained to him in that Mahabharata series they showed, Krishna Bhagwan ने बोला कि विद्या का ना कभी भी झूठ बोल के झूठ की नींव पे नहीं खड़ी रह सकती विद्या. वो हमेशा गिरेगी. If you want a knowledge, it has to be based on truth. It cannot be based on some false things, that you're cheating and all that. It cannot be. You cannot learn from cheating and all that. That's why you got this shrap. It's not even a shrap, it's a law of nature, he called it. फिर उसका पहिया धस गया था. There's lot of stories. That's why I was telling all of you should watch that. So सब clear हो जाएगा ये सब doubts.
See, another story is that Arjun became very proud that because of me, he won the war. And then Krishna explained to him that there is Hanuman on top of your chariot who's protecting you. So they remove the Hanuman and Arjun cannot stand in the whole Rath goes back, There's one story like that.
And Krishna Bhagwan said, मैं बैठा हूँ तेरी व्रत में. Imagine. Krishna Bhagwan is sitting there.
See, Krishna Bhagwan was only a strategist. But the power came from Shiv, which is Hanuman, who was on top of his chariot.
So many interesting stories. So basically the idea was that actually Karna was more powerful than Arjun. Uski Dhanur Vidya bhi was better. But because Arjun had a protection of Krishna. Because he was on the good side. That was the reason. It's not protection just like that. Because he was part of Dharma ke side, that's why Krishna Bhagwan was powerful. Yeah, sorry.
And history-wise, Duryodhan gave him a kingdom to Karna of his own.
So that
although
he
was
becomes a
Partli
king.
Putra.
Yeah.
And that kingdom was in Munger, Bihar, where Satyanand Saraswati built his ashram. So there's a hill there in Bihar, which is the Karn's place, you know.
Somebody told me that Karna was from Ahmedabad, and Ahmedabad ka purana naam hai Karnavati. Anybody knows about that?